This is day 2 of curing my bipolar disorder 1 with ketogenic diet and other behavioral changes. An update in the last 24 hours. So I finished reading Brain Energy by Dr. Chris Palmer, which is relatively new. I think it was published in 2020. And it is like very illuminating. It basically lays out this hypothesis, 2022, lays out a hypothesis for all mental illnesses, everything from OCD, PTSD, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, epilepsy, as being a cluster of symptoms that are symptoms of issues with your mitochondria, metabolic issues. I finished reading that, and at the end of it, there was a framework that suggested just making one change at a time. He said that there's so many things laid out in the book, everything, he lays into everything from spirituality to exercise, to gut health, all of this kind of stuff. And he says that it's like overwhelming to find this and look at all this stuff, and it is. And I wrote down a ton of studies that he cited that I want to keep looking at, but I think what my the first avenue through which I'm going to try to solve these issues is sleep. Like, sleep for me has been completely fucked since I was a kid. Staying up late and not sleeping through the night. I mean, last night, here's the thing. Yesterday, usually I'll go to yoga in the evenings. Last night I went to a 7 o'clock class. It ends at 8, and then I eat dinner. And usually I'm like on the computer or doing something. Usually it's watching YouTube videos of comedians' podcasts, and I stay up until like midnight or 1 o'clock usually, and I just think, why am I doing this? It's this compulsive thing. But last night, I didn't feel compelled. I didn't feel that draw to the computer, and I don't think it's anything magic. That's not true. I felt some draw, but I didn't do it. Like, I read instead, and I think that this trying to solve bipolar disorder in this way has given me a purpose that I haven't had in a long time. And the last time I did have a purpose like this, when I was writing my last book and marketing my last book, Clubby, a minor league baseball memoir, which you can find on Amazon.com. That was the last time I felt like I truly had a purpose. And it's easy to be distracted when you don't have a purpose. And that, I think, is significant. I mean, I went to bed. I ate dinner late last night. I ate pasta and chicken. I ate this red lentil pasta, which I think is fine for now, but it's one of those things that I'm going to have to look at. The only reason I eat it is because it's consistent. Yoga at 7 o'clock is very sweaty flow. I saw my friend at yoga yesterday as well for the social factor. A friend texted me asking for advice. I told her I'd call her today. Work yesterday and today has been somewhat stressful, but today, something about I woke up in the middle of the night and I had a nightmare. And it was a very interesting nightmare where I was in my childhood home in the kitchen, and in the back patio, there was some guy who was doing landscaping or some sort of like manual labor in the backyard for us. And he came up to the door and I opened it, and he just stood there with no words. And I got a little bit nervous, and I opened the door a little bit more, and he said, "There's a 300-pound cockroach on the roof." And I look up and I don't see anything, but my brother points out, he's like, "Oh my God, I can see it moving." And I see that it's not a 300-pound cockroach. It is a man in like a ghillie suit. It's like a man in a ghillie suit, but it's made out of pine. And we had it was very strange and scary. And he was wearing black. And I had that feeling when you're having a sleep paralysis experience where you want to say something but you can't talk. It was like that, except I kind of said something like, nobody in the dream was doing anything. I took this gun and I pointed it at this guy in the ghillie suit, and he ran off. And I was like, why isn't anybody else doing anything about this? I think that is analogous to what I'm experiencing with this diagnosis, where everyone wants to point at the symptoms as being you point at the 300-pound cockroach on the roof. It doesn't do anything to get rid of it. And I might be nervous, and I might have this like only a dream gun, but I'm going to see what I can do. And, I called my dad today and I told him, last time I talked to him after my diagnosis, and he was totally supportive and open. And then today I called him and I was like, hey man, this is the research that I'm finding. This is not like me going outside of traditional medicine. It's just new research that my psychiatrist and therapist just don't know about. I said, am I going crazy, or is this an opportunity for me to do something that's more in line with my values? And he said it's not crazy. He said that he's very supportive, and he wanted me to send him the research that I'd found because he wants to go on this journey with me. And everybody in my life that I've talked to has had a similar response. And God and my gut are both telling me, like, this is the path I need to go on. And honestly, reading Lord of the Rings has been helpful too, because I feel like, Frodo is just a seemingly lowly hobbit, and all he has to do is make the choice, and that makes him brave. Even though he doesn't know where to go, even though he doesn't know what to do, even though he doesn't feel like he's up to the task, he just puts one foot in front of the other anyway, and he grows stronger in the process, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, having said that, the brain energy guidelines of doing one thing at a time, what I'm going to focus on is sleep hygiene first. And I think I'm going to focus on that for the first 2 weeks. And then if that improves things, I will move into then doing a diet, ketogenic diet, because right now I still need to research the ketogenic diet more. I don't know all the details about it. And sleep hygiene, I roughly know, like the screens off, low lights, not looking. I mean, for me, the biggest thing is just not looking at any screens several hours before bed. Yesterday, I didn't look at any screens after 6 p.m. I think that was significant. If I can just shut off my computer, keep this thing off, upload this video, and then be done with computers for the rest of the day, I think we're good to go. And today, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being I wish I felt like this every day, 0 being I can't live like this anymore, I would say it was a 6.3. See you next time, Slick.